Welcome to Learning English from People.
The love poems with dark truth, Pablo Neruda. His words are famous for their beauty and love. Millions of people read his poems. But the man who wrote them was full of secrets. He was a hero to some and a monster to others. This is the story of Pablo Neruda, a man who was a poet, a politician, and a great mystery. His life did not start with the name Pablo Neruda. He was born Ricardo Reyes Basolto on July 12, 1904. His hometown was a small farming town in Chile called Peril. The world around him was wild and full of nature. His father, Jose, worked for the railway. He was a serious man who cared about practical things. His mother, Rosa, was a teacher, but she was very sick. She died only 2 months after Ricardo was born. Soon, his father moved the family to a new town called Temuco. It was a place with thick forests and a lot of rain. The rain, the trees, and the smell of wet earth were all around him. This place shaped the way he thought. It filled his mind with pictures and feelings. Later, all of these things would come out in his poems. As a boy, Ricardo was quiet. He liked to be alone and watch the world. He collected insects and bird eggs. He loved the small, beautiful details of nature that other people did not see. His father did not understand him. He thought writing poems was a waste of time. He wanted his son to do something more useful. Sometimes he found his son's poems and burned them. This was very hard for the young boy, but it did not stop him. It only made him want to write more. Luckily, other people helped him. One important person was a woman named Gabriela Mistral. She was in charge of the local girls' school. She was also a famous poet, and she later won the Nobel Prize just like he would. She saw that the young boy was very talented. She gave him books to read. She showed him the great writers of Russia and Europe. By age 13, he published his first writing in the local newspaper. When he was 16, he decided to leave his home. He wanted to get away from his father. He chose a new name for himself. He called himself Pablo Neruda. This name was like a mask. It gave him freedom. With this new name, he moved to the big city, Santiago, in 1921. He told his family he was going to study and become a teacher, but he already knew what he really wanted to do. He wanted to be a poet. Santiago in the 1920s was an exciting city. It was full of new ideas and art. Neruda lived a poor but romantic life. He often had little money for food. He wore a long, black cape. He spent all his time writing. In 1924, all his hard work led to something amazing. He published a small book of poems. It was called 20 Love Poems and a Song of Despair. The book was a huge success. The poems were about love, sadness, and desire. They were honest and full of strong feelings. Young people everywhere loved them. Some people thought the poems were too sexual for a writer who was only 20 years old. But everyone was reading them. The book became one of the most popular poetry books ever written in Spanish. It made Pablo Neruda famous across the world. But being famous did not make him rich. He was still very poor. He needed a job to make money. So he did what many writers in South America did. He became a diplomat. A diplomat is someone who works for their country in other parts of the world. In 1927, he took a job as a consul. This job sent him to faraway places. His first job was in Rangoon, Burma. Then he went to Ceylon, Java, and Singapore. In these places, he felt very lonely. He did not know the language. He did not understand the culture. He was a stranger. But this time of loneliness was good for his poetry. He started to write in a new way. His poems became deeper and more complex. They were about feeling lost in the world. These poems became a collection called Residence on Earth. In Java, he met his first wife. Her name was Maruka. She was a Dutch woman who worked at a bank. They got married, but it was not a happy marriage. They were two lonely people who found each other, but they were not a good match. The biggest change in Neruda's life came in the 1930s. He was sent to work in Spain. In the city of Madrid, he was not lonely anymore. He became part of a group of brilliant writers and artists. He made many friends, like the famous Spanish poet Federico Garcia Lorca. It was a happy time for his work, but his personal life was a mess. His marriage to Maruka was ending. He started a new relationship with a woman named Delia del Carol. She was an artist from Argentina, and she was 20 years older than him. They both shared strong political ideas. In 1934, Neruda's only child was born. She was a daughter named Malva Marina. The baby was very sick. She had a condition called hydrocephalus. This is a problem where there is too much water in the brain. How Neruda treated his sick daughter is the darkest part of his story. He felt ashamed of her. He did not want to be near her. He soon left both his wife and his child. He abandoned them completely. Malva died when she was only 8 years old. She died in a poor house in the Netherlands during World War II. Her famous father was not there. At the same time, the world was changing. In 1936, a terrible civil war started in Spain. The country was fighting against itself. For Neruda, politics was no longer just an idea to talk about in cafes. It was real, and it was violent. The war changed him forever. The most painful moment was when his good friend, Garcia Lorca, was killed by soldiers. His friend's death made Neruda take a stand. He stopped writing poems just about his own feelings. He started to write poems for the people about their struggles. He supported the government of Spain against the new, cruel leaders. He wrote a powerful book of poems called Spain in Our Hearts. His political actions made him lose his job as a diplomat, but they gave him a new reason to write. He was not just a poet anymore. He was a poet for the people. After the war in Spain ended, many people had to run away from their country. Neruda took on a new job. He called it the noblest mission of his life. He was in Paris, and he decided to help the Spanish people who had lost the war. He found an old ship called the Winnipeg. He organized a rescue mission. He saved 2,000 Spanish refugees from dirty camps in France. He brought them all to a new life in Chile. It was a wonderful act of kindness, but some people said he was not fair. They said he only chose to save people who shared his communist ideas. He left many other people behind. When Neruda returned to South America, his life was a mix of poetry and politics. He worked as a diplomat in Mexico City. While there, he got into trouble for helping a famous painter who was part of a plan to kill a Russian political leader. But Mexico also gave him a great gift. In 1943, he visited the old city of Machu Picchu in Peru. Machu Picchu is a beautiful and mysterious city high in the mountains. Seeing it changed him. It gave him the idea for one of his greatest poems, The Heights of Machu Picchu. The poem talks about the beauty of the city, but it also gives a voice to the thousands of poor workers who built it with their hands and who were forgotten by history. This poem became part of his most famous book, Canto General. This huge book is like a song about the whole of South America. It tells the story of its nature, its people, and their fight for freedom. In 1945, Neruda made his politics official. He joined the Communist Party in Chile. He was then elected to be a senator for his country. He truly believed in communism. He thought the Soviet Union was a symbol of hope for the world. He wrote poems praising its leader, Joseph Stalin. In 1953, he even accepted a peace prize named after Stalin. This support for Stalin caused problems. Many of his friends could not understand it. They knew that Stalin was a cruel leader who had killed millions of people. One of his friends, the Mexican poet Octavio Paz, argued with him about it. Neruda's support for Stalin is something that many people still cannot forgive. His political life in Chile soon became very dangerous. In 1948, he gave a famous speech in the Senate. He called the speech "I Accuse." He spoke out against the president of Chile, who he had once supported. He told the world that the president was putting poor miners in prison camps. The speech was brave. It was powerful, but it made him an enemy of the government. The police were ordered to arrest him. Pablo Neruda had to go into hiding in his own country. For more than a year, he and Delia moved from house to house. Friends and supporters hid them. Finally, in 1949, he made a dangerous escape. He rode a horse across the high, snowy Andes Mountains to Argentina. It was a difficult and frightening journey. He later wrote about this escape in his speech when he won the Nobel Prize. Neruda lived in exile for several years. This means he could not return to his country. He traveled all over Europe. He met with other famous artists like Pablo Picasso. He became a global voice for peace and for communism. He continued to write poems. During this time, he fell in love with another woman. Her name was Matilda Urrutia. She was a Chilean singer. She became the great love of his life. Their love affair was a secret at first, because he was still with Delia. He wrote a book of love poems for Matilda, but he published it without his name on it. By 1952, the government in Chile had changed. Neruda was allowed to come home. He returned to a country that saw him as a hero. His relationship with Delia ended, and he started a new life with Matilda. He was no longer a man on the run. He was a world-famous writer. He spent his time writing and building 3 special houses. These houses were in Santiago, Valparaiso, and on the coast at Isla Negra. He filled them with things he collected, like seashells and old ship parts. The houses were like his poems, full of imagination, color, and love for Chile. His political voice was still strong. He spoke out against the United States government. He did not like its actions in places like Cuba and Vietnam. His fame and his politics made him a target. Some groups tried to hurt his name, but he only became more popular. In 1970, he was chosen to be a candidate for president of Chile, but he stepped aside to help his friend, Salvador Allende. Allende won the election and became president. He made Neruda the ambassador to France. It was in Paris, in 1971, that Neruda received the best news of his life. He won the Nobel Prize in Literature. It was the highest honor for a writer. Some people on the Nobel Committee had worried about his support for Stalin, but in the end, the power of his poetry was too great to ignore. But his happiness did not last long. He was sick with cancer, and his health was getting worse. He returned to Chile in 1973. He found his country in a terrible crisis. On September 11, 1973, everything fell apart. The military, led by General Augusto Pinochet, attacked the government. President Allende died. The dream of a socialist Chile was over. For Neruda, who was sick in his bed, it was the end of his world. A few days later, soldiers came to his house. They searched for weapons. Neruda was very weak, but he was not afraid. He reportedly told them, "Look around. There is only one thing of danger for you here, poetry." On September 23, 1973, just 12 days after the attack, Pablo Neruda died. The official reason was that his cancer had stopped his heart, but many people did not believe it. His driver said that Neruda called him from the hospital. He said a doctor gave him an injection, and he believed he was being poisoned. For many years, people have asked, was Pablo Neruda murdered? In 2013, his body was studied by scientists. They found a dangerous bacteria. The government of Chile now says it is highly likely that someone else was involved in his death. The truth is still a mystery. His funeral became the first public protest against the new, cruel government. Pablo Neruda left behind a complicated story. He was a man who loved deeply. He loved women, he loved food, and he loved justice. He wrote beautiful poems about simple things like socks and tomatoes, but he also had a dark side. In his own memoirs, he wrote that he once forced a servant girl to do something sexual. This is a terrible admission. He was the champion of the poor, but he was also the father who left his sick child to die. His poetry lives on. It is read all over the world at weddings and at protests. He is still a man who causes arguments. We cannot forget his mistakes, but his words often rise above the man who wrote them. They speak about love, sadness, nature, and the fight for a better world. Pablo Neruda was a poet, a diplomat, a fugitive, and a lover. In the end, he was like the country he came from, beautiful, powerful, and full of contradictions.